While we fight a losing battle against heat waves, an ancient one-cup technology is proving we can actually increase our harvests by up to 45% with 70% less water. This isn't just irrigation. It's a forgotten subterranean secret that turns any thirsty backyard into a self-watering oasis. Imagine a garden that waters itself from the inside out, guided by an ancient technology so silent and effective, we've almost forgotten its name. This is the olla, an unglazed clay vessel that represents the pinnacle of one-cup irrigation. While modern sprinklers waste gallons through evaporation and runoff, this earthen heart sits buried beneath the soil, using a phenomenon known as soil moisture tension to provide life exactly where it is needed. We have been conditioned to accept the inefficiency of the modern oscillating sprinkler, which blasts the surface and leaves the roots gasping. This is a form of geological betrayal. Every time we spray the surface, we are essentially paying a sun tax, handing over our hard-earned water to the atmosphere before it ever touches a root. The physics are deceptively elegant. A buried, unglazed clay vessel that breathes moisture into the earth only as the soil requires it. This creates a natural suction driven by soil moisture tension. As the plants drink, the porous clay responds, releasing just enough water to maintain a state of perfect equilibrium. You aren't merely watering the dirt. You are seeding a subterranean reservoir that responds instinctively to the plant's pull. By delivering hydration directly to the root zone, the olla saves up to 70% more water than a traditional hose, boosting harvests by 30 to 45% by eliminating the stress of wilt and soak cycles. In the rush toward plastic timers, we abandoned the artisan's craft for the convenience of the tap. But as we face a future of scarcity, this humble pot stands as a testament to a time when we honored the value of every drop. It is the ultimate one-cup philosophy, targeted, efficient, and profoundly effective. Deep beneath the roots of the most productive gardens in history lies a hidden lake that never sees the sun. This is the wicking bed, a design that reverses everything we think we know about irrigation. While the modern world pours water onto the surface, only for the sun to steal half of it through evaporation, the wicking bed utilizes a bottom-up philosophy. If you could see the internal anatomy of this bed, you would see a perched water table that mimics the natural behavior of a deep earth aquifer. It is an underground reservoir where water is protected from the air, creating a pressurized zone of hydration that never stagnates. The magic of this system is powered by capillary action, the same force that allows a paper towel to soak up a spill. The soil acts as a massive wick, pulling exactly the amount of moisture needed into the root zone through a delicate dance of osmotic pressure. It is a self-regulating system that prevents the dreaded cycle of root rot, as the surface of the soil remains dry while the depths stay perfectly hydrated. We moved away from these self-contained ecosystems in favor of the suburban sprinkler, a tool that favors convenience over biological efficiency. But the wicking bed proves that when you stop fighting gravity and start working with the Earth's natural thirst, you can grow significantly more food with a fraction of the effort. It is a masterpiece of hidden engineering, turning a simple garden box into a permanent, self-sustaining oasis. Most people see a fallen log as debris, a waste product to be hauled away or discarded. But our ancestors saw it as a massive woody sponge capable of anchoring an ecosystem for decades. This is the secret of Hugelkultur, an ancient European method of building mound gardens over a foundation of decaying wood. To understand its power, you have to visualize the log as a subterranean lung. As it decomposes, it breathes moisture back into the earth, holding on to winter rains like a living battery. While modern agriculture relies on the precision of the pipette and the hose, a hugel bed relies on the slow, rhythmic heartbeat of decomposition. As the buried logs break down over time, they become incredibly porous, absorbing winter rains and holding that moisture deep within their fibers. During the blistering heat of midsummer, when the surrounding earth is parched and cracked, the roots of the plants on the mound tunnel deep into this rotting timber. They find a subterranean sanctuary of cool, damp wood that acts as a life support system. A well-established Hugelkultur bed, one that has decomposed for several years, can go an entire summer without a single drop of supplemental water, surviving entirely on the 1 cup it drank months prior. The first few years require patience and watering as the wood breaks down, but once mature, the mound becomes Nearly self-sufficient. In our drive for flat, sanitized lawns, we lost the wisdom of the mound. We traded these self-watering hills for rows of thirsty plants that struggle by the turn of a faucet. But for those who remember the power of the buried sponge, the reward is a harvest that thrives on neglect. Before the complex networks of pressurized pipes and plastic emitters, there was the simple pitcher, a one-cup solution to a whole row problem. In the arid landscapes of the ancient world, gardeners didn't believe in the chaos of the broadcast sprinkler. They understood that water was a precious currency, and they refused to spend it on the paths or the weeds. Pitcher irrigation was the original drip system, a method of placing porous vessels at strategic intervals along a planting row to deliver hydration with surgical precision. The logic was simple. By filling a central vessel, you allow the water to seep slowly into the root zone of the surrounding 4 or 5 plants. This one-cup philosophy focuses entirely on the plant's biological needs rather than the gardener's convenience. While modern irrigation often encourages shallow root growth by wetting only the surface, pitcher irrigation coaxes the roots to dive deep, seeking the steady, cool moisture of the buried vessel. This creates a resilient plant that can withstand a heat wave that would wither a surface-watered garden in hours. We traded this intimate, hand-poured care for the automation of the modern age, losing our connection to the individual needs of our soil. But the pitcher reminds us that abundance doesn't require a flood. It requires the right amount of water in exactly the right place. Walk into any old-growth forest after a month of drought, and you'll find the soil is still cool, dark, and damp. Beneath the towering canopy, the earth is never naked. It is protected by a thick, decaying quilt of leaves, twigs, and organic life. This is the forest floor secret, the original insulation that keeps the planet's moisture from vanishing into the thin air. For the modern gardener, deep mulching is the one-cup hack that stops the sun from acting like a giant vacuum. When we leave our soil bare, we are exposing it to a relentless cycle of baking and evaporation. A single afternoon of direct sun can strip the top few inches of earth of all its life-sustaining water. But by layering 6 to 8 inches of straw, wood chips, or leaves over the surface, we create a thermal barrier. This mulch doesn't just hold water, it lowers the soil temperature by as much as 20 degrees, creating a stable microclimate where beneficial microbes and earthworms can thrive. In the quest for a tidy backyard, we have turned our gardens into biological deserts of bare dirt. We spend hundreds of dollars on water bills to replace what the sun steals every morning. Deep mulching proves that the most effective way to water your harvest is to simply keep the water you already have. In the blistering high desert heat of the American Southwest, ancient farmers didn't build mounds. They built waffles. This was the genius of the Zuni people, a masterclass in moisture geometry designed to survive in a landscape where every drop of rain is a miracle. While the modern gardener is obsessed with raised beds, which expose the soil to the wind and sun on all sides, the Zuni waffle garden does the exact opposite. By digging down and creating a grid of sunken rectangular pockets, they turn the earth itself into a protective vessel. Modern raised beds are essentially drying pedestals, attacked by heat on all 5 sides. But the sunken bed uses the cool mass of the planet as a thermal shield. These sunken beds act as natural traps. When a rare desert rain falls, the water doesn't wash away. It is funneled into these depressions, soaking deep into the root zone, where it is shielded by earthen walls. These berms act as mini windbreaks and provide shade for the soil, reducing the evaporative tax that the desert sun demands. It is a one-cup philosophy born from the absolute necessity of survival, a realization that the most efficient place for a plant to grow is in the cool, sheltered depths of the earth. We plant our vegetables on pedestals of drying dirt, then struggle to keep them hydrated with expensive timers. But the Zuni waffle reminds us that, in the fight against drought, the low ground is the high ground. A fruit tree's thirst is legendary, but the secret to the sweetest peaches in the orchard wasn't a fire hose. It was a buried pot. Most modern growers make the mistake of surface watering their trees, a practice that encourages shallow root systems that are the first to fail during a drought. But by utilizing larger, deep-buried olas near the drip line of a young tree, you can perform a feat of biological engineering that changes the tree's genetic resilience forever. This is the secret of deep root training. When the water is Delivered 2 feet underground through the porous walls of a clay vessel, the tree's roots don't stay near the surface where the sun can bake them. Instead, they dive deep into the earth, seeking the steady, cool source of moisture. This creates a vertical anchor that allows the tree to tap into the natural moisture of the subsoil, making it virtually drought-proof within a few seasons. It is a one-cup strategy for a 10-foot giant. By delivering a concentrated, slow-release microdose of hydration, we avoid the wasteful runoff of traditional basins. We have traded this deep tissue hydration for the convenience of the automated bubbler, yet we wonder why our trees struggle. The old masters knew that a tree's health is a reflection of its roots, and by burying the water, they ensured the harvest would remain heavy and sweet. While the world sleeps, the air is full of water, and the old masters knew exactly how to pull it from the sky. This is the science of the dew collector, a method that treats the atmosphere as an untapped reservoir. Long before we relied on municipal pipes, gardeners in arid regions noticed a simple phenomenon: moisture clings to cold surfaces. By strategically placing stones or glass plates around the base of a plant, they weren't just decorating, they were building an atmospheric one-cup harvester. The logic is a masterpiece of thermodynamics. During the heat of the day, these stones absorb the sun's energy, but at night, they cool rapidly. As the temperature drops, the moisture in the air reaches its dew point and condenses into liquid droplets on the surface of the stones. Gravity does the rest, funneling that pure distilled water directly into the soil. It is a slow, rhythmic drip that provides a life-saving microdose of hydration during the most stressful hours of the morning. We've lost this connection to the daily breath of the planet, favoring the brute force of high-pressure hoses. The dew collector reminds us that the garden is a living system that can provide for itself if given the right tools. It proves that even in a desert, you are never truly without water. You are simply waiting for the night to reveal it. When the rain finally falls, most of it runs away, racing across the surface of the lawn and disappearing into the street, carrying your garden's potential with it. But a swale turns your backyard into a permanent soak pit, acting as the Earth's natural water veins. In the world of regenerative design, a swale is simply a trench dug perfectly level along the contour of the land. It isn't a drain meant to move water, it is a trap meant to stop it. The beauty of the swale lies in its patience. Instead of allowing gravity to strip the hillside, the swale catches the runoff and holds it in a long, horizontal pool. As the water sits, it slowly percolates into the ground, creating a water plume that extends deep within the soil. This underground reservoir can stay hydrated for weeks after a storm, feeding the roots of trees and vegetables planted on the berm or the mound of soil just below the trench. It is the ultimate one-cup strategy on a landscape scale, capturing the abundance of a storm and meting it out one drop at a time over the dry months. Modern landscaping is obsessed with drainage, getting water off the property as fast as possible. But the swale proves that the smartest way to water your harvest is to let the earth hold its own breath. Every time you wash vegetables or boil pasta, you're discarding a nutrient-rich resource for your garden. In efficient homesteads of the past, water was reused on its journey from the house to the harvest. This is the essence of gray water, the second life of every cup from your kitchen. While modern plumbing sends this resource to sewers, savvy gardeners see it as liquid gold packed with minerals. Although some worry it's unclean, the soil acts as a biological filter filled with microbes that break down organic matter before it reaches the roots. The science of gray water lies in its living components. The small amounts of organic matter, starch from cooking, and minerals from washing act as a mild, natural fertilizer for soil microbes. By collecting this water and delivering it directly to the base of non-edible plants or fruit trees, you are essentially closing the biological loop. It is a system that demands observation. It forces us to realize that waste is merely a resource we haven't found a use for yet. We've traded this resourceful cycle for the turn-knob convenience of municipal systems that ignore the natural minerals already present in our homes. But the gray water garden proves that a single cup of water can feed a family twice, once in the kitchen and once in the field. Long before plastic self-watering containers hit the shelves of big-box stores, resourceful gardeners were building bottom-up systems by hand. These were the true ancestors of the modern, Earthbox, designed to solve the biggest problem with container gardening, the relentless cycle of drying out and oversaturation. In a standard pot, the sun bakes the soil from all sides, turning your 1 cup of water into steam within hours. But these self-watering designs use a false bottom to create a permanent internal reservoir. The secret lies in the soil-to-water contact. By using a wicking chamber filled with soil that dips directly into the water reservoir, the system utilizes capillary action to pull moisture upward as the plant transpires. It is a demand-based system. The plant only takes what it needs, and the soil remains perfectly aerated. This 1 cup philosophy ensures that even a small container can maintain the moisture levels of a deep earth garden, allowing for explosive growth in the smallest of spaces. We have traded these hand-built, high-efficiency vessels for cheap, thin-walled plastic pots that require constant attention. We spend our summers tethered to a watering can, a slave to the evaporation rate of our containers. Self-watering ancestors remind us that the most effective way to care for a plant is to give it the autonomy to water itself. Deep in the heart of the Amazon, there is a black soil so fertile and resilient that it has held its power for over 2,500 years. This is terra preta, or dark earth, a man-made miracle that holds water like a diamond, even in the blistering tropical heat. While the surrounding jungle soil is often thin and leached of nutrients by heavy rains, these ancient plots remain a deep, rich black. The secret isn't a fertilizer, it's a molecular sponge. If you could zoom in to the microscopic level, you would see that biochar isn't just charcoal. It is a city of microscopic skyscrapers. Each tiny pore is a room where water is stored, and where billions of beneficial microbes build a civilization that lasts for centuries. The key ingredient is biochar, a form of charcoal created by burning organic matter in a low-oxygen environment. Under a microscope, a single piece of biochar reveals a labyrinth of millions of tiny pores. These microscopic rooms act as a permanent reservoir for both water and beneficial microbes. 1 cup of biochar can hold several times its weight in water. Some studies show up to 5 times, preventing it from draining away into the subsoil. Unlike compost, which eventually breaks down and disappears, biochar remains in the soil for centuries, providing a permanent 1 cup infrastructure that keeps the harvest hydrated through the longest droughts. We've been trying to feed our plants when we should have been housing their water. Terra Preta reminds us that the most productive gardens aren't built on the surface. They are engineered at the molecular level to never let a single drop of life go to waste. Look at any old homestead orchard and you'll see a ring of earth around every trunk, a simple hand-carved pan designed to capture a single cup of water and make it count. This is the berm and basin method, a low-tech masterclass in gravity. While the modern world allows irrigation to sheet off a flat lawn like water off a glass table, the tree pan forces the hydration to stay exactly where the tree can use it. It is a calculated interruption of runoff, turning a slope into a series of life-giving bowls. The focus here is the drip line, the area directly beneath the outer circumference of the tree's branches. This is where the most active feeder roots reside, waiting for moisture. By creating a shallow depression surrounded by a raised earthen rim, the gardener ensures that every gallon of rain or gray water is funneled directly into the soil plume. It is the height of efficiency. It prevents the grass from stealing the tree's nutrients and ensures that the 1 cup you provide reaches the deep tissue roots rather than evaporating on the surface. We have lost this functional beauty to the aesthetic of the flat, mowed lawn. We prefer the clean lines of grass growing right up to the bark, even if it means our trees are chronically thirsty and competing for survival. But the tree pan reminds us that the most successful orchards aren't the ones with the most water. They are the ones with the best traps. Sometimes the best way to water a plant isn't to add more liquid. It's to provide a living canopy that stops the sun from stealing the life that is already there. This is the logic of shaded irrigation, a 1 cup strategy that uses vertical space to protect the horizontal soil. In traditional gardens, the 3 sisters, or vining trellises, aren't just for saving space. They are living umbrellas. While modern gardens leave large gaps between rows, essentially creating mini deserts of exposed dirt, the old masters used a vine canopy to create a localized greenhouse effect. By allowing large-leafed plants like squash, beans, or grapes to climb above the more sensitive, Crops, you significantly reduce the rate of evapotranspiration. This living mulch of leaves acts as a biological shield, cooling the air temperature by several degrees and preventing the soil from reaching the bake point. Under this canopy, a single cup of water lasts 3 times longer than it would in an open field. It is a system of nurse plants, where the tall protect the small, ensuring that the moisture remains in the soil rather than vanishing into the heat of the afternoon. We have traded this layered wisdom for the neat, separated rows of industrial farming. We've been taught that competition is the enemy, yet we ignore the cooperation that allows a forest to stay lush while our gardens struggle. Shaded irrigation reminds us that the best way to manage water is to manage the light itself. We traded our ancestral wisdom for the convenience of the turn-knob hose, and our gardens have been thirsty ever since. This is the one-cup spirit, a philosophy that sees water not as an infinite utility, but as a precious catalyst for life. Over the last century, we fell victim to the great simplification. Industrial agriculture increasingly focused on only 3 elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, because they were easy to bag and sell. We traded the complex 92-element mineral symphony of the tides for a chemically simplified shortcut. The psychological shift from observation to automation has cost us more than just a higher water bill. It has cost us the deep, intuitive understanding of our land. The industrialization of the backyard convinced us that a garden should be a place of consumption rather than a cycle of conservation. We replaced the biological precision of the Zuni waffle and the buried sponge with synthetic chemicals and high-pressure systems that treat the soil like a sterile substrate. By seeking the fast result, we lost the permanent reward. But as we stand on the leftovers of a once rich earth, the invitation to return to the shoreline and the soil has never been louder. Returning to these forgotten methods isn't about moving backward, it's about moving forward with a blueprint that has been refined for millions of years. It's about realizing that a single cup of water, delivered with the right wisdom, can do more than 1,000 gallons delivered with indifference. We are finally learning to listen to the rhythm of the tides and the needs of the roots once again. The secrets of the ancient masters are still there, waiting in the clay and the wood, ready to transform your garden into a fountain of life. If you're ready to stop fighting the drought and start working with the blueprint of the ancients, hit the like button to help us reclaim this forgotten science. Subscribe to join our community of growers, and let's bring the one-cup legacy back to the earth.